Hi everyone, welcome back to the next installment of Morgana. So Morgana is a square 8 and a quarter by 8 and a quarter album designed with Cool Cats Crafts. And there is a kit available which you can purchase, so have a look in the shop below, but have a look back through the videos and you get all the information. And if you do want to make one, or you want to make some of these pages for your album and you want this PDF, you'll need to join my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul, link in the description below, or get in touch with Cool Cats Crafts by emailing them or joining their Facebook group called Cool Cats Crafts. Again, I'll link both groups in the description below. So we've already made a cover. We've done the matting and labelling with our faux miters. We've made the most of our 8x8 pages on page 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. Let's not talk too much about page 4 and 5. Let's hope today's goes better. So now we're on to page 6 and 7. So I'm going to pull up those pages. So I've written on them page 6 and page 7, a little arrow up so I know they're the right way up. So page 6 is a nice big belly band with a pocket, and I've decided to change one of the measurements. So when your PDF is ready, I'll have changed the bits. So as I've been going along, I've been doing some little adjustments. And page 7 is a nice little folio type one, which is very easy. Look at the cutting guide. And for these pages, we've decided to go for the celebrate. So we're going to use both sides of the shells. So let's have a look at what we're going to be cutting. In fact, I might do both the cuttings because page 7 is so simple. We'll do both at the same time. So let's start with page 6. So page 6 wants us to cut our big belly band one at 8 3/4 by 5 1/4, and let's see, I can probably get one of these 7 3/4 by 2 from the leftover. Yes, I can. Just keep that for page 7. And in fact, I can probably get, the other one from this scrap as well. By 7 3/4. So let's put them aside there, page 7. And page 6, we need one piece, 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. So let's cut the 4 1/2 first. 4 1/2 by 6 1/4. Okay, so there's my cutting done. Let's bring in my scoreboard. Just move them up. So my scoring guide says to put the 8 3/4 on top, score at half. I gotta rotate it and do half again. And now I'm gonna score. Oh, you may also wish to mark at 2 5/8. So 2 5/8 is the center. So I've come down through my half and a little bit extra. Turn it around. 2 5/8. So down to the halfway and just a little bit over. So I've got some guides just so I can centralize it on my page. If you don't want to score it, what you can do is cut a piece of copier paper at 5 1/4, height doesn't matter. Fold it in half and do a pencil line, top and bottom. So if you've got awkward, like you're trying to work out when you've got 8s and stuff, you can just do that instead. So on the page then, on page 6, rather than score in the middle, that's one of my pull aparts, what I've done is cut a piece of paper at 7 3/4. I'm going to fold it in half, not cut it, fold it, open it up, and I'm going to mark the middle, top and bottom. So what I'll be able to do then is line up when I come to do this bit in the middle. So just a nice way to get your belly band centered. And then we're going to make a pocket. So this is now with a 6 1/4. Oh, there are 6 1/4 at half. Rotate in half. And then the 4 1/2 on top, score at half. So that's my page 6 pieces done. And then my page 7 pieces are 2 inches at the top, score at a half. So 2 inches on the top, score at half. So we put our scoring tool away and just bring page 6 and 7 back in. Oh, 6 and 7. So let's start on the page 6 first. So this is our belly band. So we've just got a score line on the top and bottom. So I'm just going to put some tape inside those 2 1/2-inch pieces. And then we've got our pockets. So we're going to tape. We've done so many of these in the Morgana album. I think we're going to do quite nicely with this one. Let's have a look. And once I've got the tape, let's do these 2 long pieces. So inside that 1/2-inch again, just all the way down. I couldn't see in the light for a second then where the score line was. There we go. And once we're at it, let's use the large corner rounder. So I'm using my 10mm or large on my cardstock. And when I come to do it on the paper, I will go down to the medium. That'll give me a nice matten layer. So always the largest on your card, smallest on your paper, medium on your paper. Okay, 7 has been set aside. So number 6. We're going to do the miters. Up to the corner and miter it off. So up to the cross, angle my scissors and cut, just like we've been doing all through this album. Just gives us some extra space so that we don't end up having the 2 flaps meeting and creating extra bulk. So let's do the pocket first then, because I was talking about then. So you can see clearly there's a space between the 2 flaps. Flip it over. Let's just burnish it really well. And my belly band, I'd done one. Then I started talking about the pocket, didn't I? Let's get these nice and flat. And it's just a case now of lining up that center and that center, and then lining up on the top. There's one. And then you can see there, I'm folding back my belly band into a bow so I can see where that pencil line and this score line or pencil line, depending which one you've done, is going to line up. And there it is. Hold it down. And if you've got a bit too much of a bow, just sort of iron it out with your tool. Now, I want to make sure I decorate this the correct way. So I'm going to grab my pencil and just put an arrow up. There we go. And now I can attach this pocket. So, of course, it's going to be a top loading one. And it fits directly onto my belly band. And then take off the two sides and line it up. It's got this pocket here, but then we've got this belly band that goes all the way through here. It's just a bit different to the pockets we've been putting so far. And then number 7, we're just going to fold back. And we're going to line this up by taking a bit off each side. I'm going to put one flap on the top. And one on the bottom. And that's page 7 constructed. So as I said, we're going to use the celebrate. So there's going to be one shell there, and I've got to decide, do I want my pocket in the purple with more shells behind, or do I want to go for a shell pocket? Which way should we go? Let's go for the shells. No, shell strips, purple pocket. There we are, decided. So we might even get, no, we will need all 3. Right, page 6, trimmer. Our page is 6 3/4, so I'm going to cut this 1/4 inch less, so 7.5 by 7.5. In fact, I can leave that because it's not a pattern continuation. I'll just have a little bit of extra going on later on. Right, so our pocket is going to be 5 1/4. So we're going to cut my paper at 5, which leaves me with 3. So we're going to cut this in half at 1.5. So what we've got then is 2 pieces for either side and 1 for the middle. Or we're going to go, let's go that way. Right. So then we've got this pocket on the top as well, and that's 4 inches. So I'm going to cut at 3 3/4. Go. And we will have a pattern continuation going up our belly band like so. So this one is big enough to put a 3 by 4 inch photo slot. So if you've got the photo slot dies, the set 2 one, let's add a little photo slot here. Just putting some low-tack tape, sending it through my die cutting machine. Not making the mistake this time of putting it on top of my table. And what that's done is cut 4 little slots, which you can slip in a 3 by 4 inch photo into those slots, and you can change it then whenever you want. But in the kit as well, you also get for each of the photo slots a photo mat die, which is this one, and it cuts out a mat which is a little bit bigger than your 3x4 photo, but has some little stitched details. And I always cut one of those out. What you can do is use that die to cut straight into your photograph. So if you haven't got 3x4 photos, you've got 6x4s, you can actually use that die to cut the photo. But I cut out the mat to put it in because it shows then where it goes, but you can also put a 3x4 photo on the mat and have a little black border. But it helps me most with where to attach my glue. So I want to avoid where those black bits are because that's where your photo is going to come through. There we go. So let's have a look. There. And then we're going to have this pattern continuation going up with these shells. I like this page. There's quite a lot going on, but it's also really easy and really quick, and only uses one sheet of your paper. So let's just tuck that inside my pocket. There we go. And then this one will go on the right, so I'm just going to ink the right hand side. And this one's gone on the left, so I'm just going to ink the left hand side. So I'm just going to bring it around so I can tuck it in. There we go. So that is page 6, all complete. We've got a nice little photo mat, but also room then for extra photo mats and things in there. But also, when we come to the finishing touches, I will show you how to make extra large photo mats, which can go all the way through like so. I'll do that right at the very end when we come to do all the nice finishing touches video. So let's have a look at page 7. So page 7 is a great one if you've got a big image or busy pattern like so. So this one, I've actually added something which doesn't come in the kit, is a little piece of thin acetate. So as you open it, you pull it back, all your photo things go behind the acetate. And then you just do one of my famous corset closures, which I'll show you in a second. Like so. But with those strings, I thought, well, it's going to keep the things behind anyway. So this one has no acetate. So the strings just keep everything in place. So the large photo mat can go in and you still see it through the strings. So you can do it with acetate or without. So if you have got a piece of thin acetate you want to use, go ahead and attach it here using double-sided tape, but don't take your tape too close to the edge because your paper won't cover it. So let's have a look at this page then. Again, bringing back my trimmer. So the first piece is going to be 7.5 by 7.5. And that's just going to be stuck flat down. And of course you could put some photo slot dies or something into this one. You could put your pierce slot dies in, whatever you want. This would, you could put your 5x7 photo slot into this one. Right, so 7 is that way up, and place it down. There we go. And then each of these pieces is now 1.5 inches. So I'm going to cut them at 1.25 inches. So we're going to use the purple side. So 7.5 wide, and then just double check, it was 1.25, wasn't it? Yeah, the flaps are 1.5, so I'm going to go 1.25. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 2 this side and 2 this side. I don't think it matters too much with this paper. Some of the shells do look like they have an up and a down, but what you want to do is, with your corner rounder, 2 of them you want to corner the top with our medium one, and 2 of them you want to corner the bottom, because when your flaps open they're going to be a different direction. There we go. And then it'll just take me a bit of time just to do the 4 flaps. One. 2 of them. And the last one. Okay, so let's bring back, oh please, in fact, so I have got a piece of thin acetate here, so I could show you what to do. So let's do 7.5 by 7.5. So I'm going to cut this one at 7.5, which is the width. I'm going to cut this one at just short, just a 1/16 less, so it doesn't catch on the bottom. Okay, so I'll show you now what I meant earlier on. When I attach my acetate, I'm actually going to have to avoid where the black could be shown, because otherwise it's not going to be covered. So I'm going to put it more towards the center and not go edge to edge. So I'm going to tuck this into place and do what I have done. I've cut this at 7.5, haven't I? I wanted it at 7 3/4, but I'm going to keep going with it just to show you. So when you cut yours, 7 3/4, not 7.5. It's not the end of the world. That'll teach me to craft on the hoof, won't it? And change my mind, because originally I wasn't going to put it. So and I would need one which comes downwards. or the curve on the bottom is what I meant by downwards. And then this one I'm going to attach with tape. So I'm going to take it all the way across and all the way across the bottom as well. There we go. And then our last one just goes on the bottom. Now this shell paper is perfect for fussy cutting shells. When I've made projects with Make Splash in the past, I really have gone to town with all the fussy cut shells and attached them everywhere, and they really do add a lovely finishing touch. So that then is the basis of our 2 pages, but you do need a special type of closure for this one, page 7. So I am doing one of my corset closures. Now I have got a separate video in my closures videos, so have a look at my playlists on Paper Crafting with Paul YouTube channel, and you will see the closure album, and each of that, the pages were exactly the same. I just want to show you a different closure on each page. So I have done a really slow video, step by step, on how to do the corset closure. So it looks like a corset laced up. You saw at the start of this video where the cord goes up, down, up, down. Now I'm not going to be able to do that today because tying knots and things are quite tricky at the moment, because my thumb is still not quite right, because I broke it at the start of the year. So it just looks very awkward, but I'll show you what to do, and as I said, go back to that video. So 7 3/4. The middle is here. And what I'm going to do now with this piece of paper is fold it in quarters as well. And what we'll have, I know that could be too close together still, so what I'm going to do is fold these 2 side ones again and see, yes, that would be good. So I've folded that paper again, and what I've got is, I think it's an 1/8, and is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah, 1/8. So I've got them in the middle and 1/8 of the page without actually having to worry about any measurements. So let's have a look. Let's try and get that straight. So there's 1/8 of the way in. And this one will also be 1/8. And I'm just going to turn it upside down. It might be easier. So let's bring that flap. So I'm going to just eyeball halfway up, and then I can use that at the base. There we go. So you need 6 of these in total, and that's all these are folio strip circles. So they're circles but with a hole in the middle, perfectly centered. I mean, you can make them yourselves, but it's so much easier and so much more precise using the dies. And I do use them over and over again. I mean, I use them on my swivel closures, on my corset closures, on my folio closures. I mean, I think circles are what dies were invented for, isn't it? Because who can cut a perfect circle? Even when using your punch, finding that middle is hard. So there we go. What I've done now is I've got a black circle. and then 2 black circles and a patterned paper on top, sandwiched together with the brad, which means you can actually lift this and there's 1 black circle stuck to the paper, but the other 2 on the paper are free. So you can actually get your wax cord, your string, whatever you're using, in between that gap. Now, I tend to start here, because wherever you start, you will also end. And then the string sort of hangs down here. So I put my cord behind there once this is all dried, because you need to pull it tight. So I tie it around, a couple of knots, and I bring it down. I tuck it under this one, so it's sandwiched between the black circle and the raised bit. So down, up to that one, and then V shape down to that, and then just hooks over the top and hangs. And once it's hanging, I've got 2 circles with some pattern paper on, which I will then just sandwich onto the string. And that is then how to close that one. And when you have a look at the walkthrough, you will see how that's turned out. So that is page 6 and 7, ready to add to our album. Here we go. The backs 6 and 7. And then the 2 circles ready. So I'm going to put them to the side for now. So that is almost at the end of the pages. So the next video, I will take you through page 8 and the back. And then I'll probably do another extra final video where I just assemble it all together and make some final touches. So thank you for watching and sticking with our Morgana album. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your versions. So make sure you join my Facebook group called Paper Crafting with Paul, and join the Cool Cats Facebook group so you can share your photos there. And please, if you haven't already, click that like button and hit the subscribe button so you'll be informed when the next video goes live. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again soon.